Hey babe.
What's up, babe?
Are you coming to the special assembly today?
Nah, not this week, babe. I've been working all week. I'm just trying to chill and play the game for real.
Yeah. Well, you said you were gonna come to one of the assemblies.
I know. I'll get around to it. I know that's your thing. You know your beliefs and all that. You know, I'll let you have your time. I'm gonna chill. You know, I done worked 50 hours this week. It's only my 2 days off. You know, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should take a break.
I know. I am tired, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and I'll feel uplifted after. It'll be fine.
Okay. Well, you know, you enjoy doing that, so you know, I support you.
Okay.
You know, let me know how it goes.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll see you later.
All right, babe. Jump on this 2K. What's up, babe? How was it? How'd the assembly go?
Hi, babe. It was good. It was a really nice.
Bad out. Look what I got. Your favorite wine.
That is my favorite.
Yeah. I figured we have a drink and have a seat.
I was just coming home to pick something up real quick, pick up my stuff because we were gonna go out to dinner with some of the sisters at the hall because we met the circuit overseer and he invited all of us out to dinner.
Hey, we ain't had an evening all month. You've been doing the pioneer thing. You know, that's cool. But I figured at least one day we could just sit down and enjoy an evening.
I know. I'm sorry, but listen, this is a special assembly. It's a special assembly. So like the spiritual food we got there was really good and the association was really great and
that's good. You got the spiritual food. Now I cooked. We can have some real food and some wine, you know?
So sweet.
Yeah, what the circuit breaker got to do with all this?
Who?
Whoever the man is y'all met, yeah.
He's overtaking the circuit now, so we were just gonna go out to dinner so that we can all get to know him.
Oh, you can know him another time. Wait a minute, is this the man that be going around not paying for his food and everybody just chipping in?
What?
One of them dudes?
Yeah, usually he doesn't pay, but...
Man, he need to get a Circuit City job.
We do not talk about people like that. He's leading the flock, babe.
Or he need to lead his way to a manager position or something so he can pay for his own dinner. You, listen, babe, we got us a nice evening.
Mm-hmm.
You got something to eat. You got something to sip on.
Okay.
We can hang out here. It's like we work nonstop. You get off work and I gotta help out with the kids because, you know, you hurry up after they get out of school and rush them to the meeting, and then we get our weekend. You go out and knock on doors of field service and your Sunday meetings, and then this weekend you had the assembly thing yesterday and today.
Which I invited you to.
That's fine, but
invite you to.
I like to get my rest after work, which you should be doing too. The doctor advised that, get more rest, and you just nonstop at this Kingdom Hall stuff.
Well, because last time that I slowed down, remember all the turmoil we were going through? Remember it was like hard for us to pay our bills?
It was hard for everybody. It was 2008. It was the recession. Jeezy made an album about it.
But I feel like it was because I had slowed down at the Kingdom Hall.
But what about that elder and his wife that was doing everything? They was broke. Half the hall was broke. And they, you know what I'm saying? The Bethelite people up in the headquarters, they broke and they doing all, you see what I'm saying? What's the difference?
I know.
It just feels like I'm the one doing the compromising and you can't even just sit and have a glass of wine.
Well, I can, but this is the special assembly day.
All right, well, you enjoy.
You can come.
It's all right. Those people are kind of funny acting toward me. And one mentioned something about me having hair, asked if I'm gonna cut my hair and all that. You know, that's cool if that's your friends. You enjoy your night and don't worry about it. I'll pack the food up. We have it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you enjoy your time with the Circuit City man. And that is how a worldly husband works things out the right way. Compromise. Welcome back, YouTube.
Okay, we are back with kind of part 2.
Yeah. In a sense.
So what are we talking about today, babe?
So before we talked about what it's like to date a Jehovah's Witness, now we're going to talk about when you clink, locked into that contract when you married to a Jehovah's Witness.
Ooh, that's a whole other avenue right there.
That's different right there.
Let's get right into it. So again, I feel like this depends on how did you end up being married to a Jehovah's Witness? Were you always never a Jehovah's Witness, or was it you used to be a Jehovah's Witness and then you were like, wow, this is not real. This is not the truth. And now you're like an apostate and still married to the believing Jehovah's Witness? Like, there's layers to this as well.
Yep. Are you a PMO?
Who are you?
You no longer believe?
Or just inactive? Because I've seen that situation before where it was a believing active Jehovah's Witness and an inactive Jehovah's Witness.
Yep.
And I feel bad for him, honestly, because it was like the way everybody would talk about him was like, oh, he was. What do they call whenever they get
Like when they slow down?
Yeah, but they slow down because somebody made them feel
they were discouraged.
Yes. Yep. So he got like discouraged. That was the story, at least. I don't know what actually
There was
happened.
a lot of that. Then it could be, were you in a regular relationship and your spouse became a Jehovah's Witness?
Ooh, man.
That could be tough.
That's probably really tough.
Yeah, that really throw a wrench in y'all plan.
Yeah. So each one of those are going to face their own like trials and tribulations, but we will try to get to the meat of what most of them will probably face. Yep.
And if it's one that we missed, let us know in the comments. But no matter how you twist it or turn it, at the end of the day, if you are the spouse that's not the Jehovah's Witness, you are viewed by the Jehovah's Witnesses as the worst possible candidate, the worst possible spouse that this person can ever have.
And don't take it from our voices and from our mouths. No, look at what jw.org has to say about unbelieving mates. Okay, so we are going to be reading Endure Family Opposition with Understanding and Wisdom. And we're just going to look at the first paragraph and dive right in right there. But I want you guys to like pay special attention to what they're saying, especially at the beginning of this paragraph, okay? So it says, ridicule, physical assault, imprisonment, bans on field witnessing, prohibition of Christian meetings and association, confiscation of Bibles and literature. These are things we usually associate with the persecution of our brothers in oppressive lands. But do we realize that many in the congregations with which we associate right now are experiencing similar conditions because of opposition from unbelieving mates?
They compare imprisonment to
just having an unbelieving mate.
This is how much of a reach or how they really view people that are not Jehovah's Witnesses. You are the scum of the earth. Yes,
like just remember that they paint the picture of unbelieving mates. It can never just be like a normal unbelieving mate who just does not believe what you believe in. They always paint it to be like, oh, this person had to endure physical assault, emotional assault, like all of these things, when they're never taking into account what the other person is going through as well.
Never.
And that's why we also did this skit in that way, because to show a different light on the opposite as well, because you have this believing mate who is spending all of her or his time in the ministry and with the people at the Kingdom Hall and never wanting to really spend time at home. So they're lacking in trust and communication and all of these things that go into having like a happy and healthy relationship. And on top of it, they are trying to convert you. They are always on a mission to try to convert you to also being a Jehovah's Witness. That's like, if you have an unbelieving mate, that's like your number one goal, is to be able to convert them, because then it's like, oh, you finally get to breathe. People aren't looking at you sideways and feeling sorry for you that you have an unbelieving mate. You know, it's like a whole thing.
It's like you're doing it for the approval of other people. And a lot of the times, the so-called unbelieving mate is not, he's letting you do your thing or she's letting you do your thing as long as you are respecting their boundaries, but they not like stop going to the hall. It's just like, okay, well, you do that. But it's never a you do that from the Jehovah's Witness. It's always you shouldn't do that. You can't do that.
And they're always pushing boundaries. Like if you have a mate that like doesn't really care to have a bunch of people over all the time, or doesn't want to associate, he's kind of introverted or she's introverted, but you are constantly pushing the boundaries. Like, oh, we're having a get together at the house this weekend. Oh, we're having I offered our home for Bible study, because you have to remember the other person is trying to make up for where they feel like they are lacking. So because they married somebody who was a non-believer or still is a non-believer or became a non-believer, they feel like they have to make up for that lack in their family. So now it's like, come over for dinner and we can use our home for the field service study. It's like, it's a whole thing.
It is. So the second paragraph is also interesting, and we'll pull that one up too and read along with us. Of course, not all with unbelieving mates face such extreme difficulties, but they do experience real tests of their faith. By our encouragement and help, they will be greatly strengthened to endure. Elders especially should be a source of refreshment and guidance. So think of this. You are a grown man. Supposed to be leading your family. And when your wife, just let that sink in. Your wife needs some guidance from a leader. She's going to somebody she's not even married to. Another man is putting everything on the table that she feel like she can't tell you. In what world is that something that's approved of by a man with some kahunas? A man that ain't no grown man going for that. Why are you going somewhere else to, oh, I'm just going through this with my marriage and it? Are you crazy?
And it's greatly inappropriate. It's simple, plain and simple. It's inappropriate. And just like they said there, okay, not everybody experiences, you know, extreme difficulties, but they experience things that test their faith. Everybody experiences things that test their faith, you know? But the fact that it's like, oh, you need to go to the elders for these kinds of problems, instead of going to your spouse that you're supposed to be tied to. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are supposed to be one.
Not according to this paragraph.
And just like we said before, they really do try to bring other people around. It's like everything becomes how can I convert my spouse kind of thing. So we're going to go down to paragraph 5, where it says, where possible, this is encouragement from them now, okay? Where possible, introduce unbelieving ones to some of the brothers and sisters as opportunity affords. Sometimes those outside the family circle can accomplish more than the believing mate, perhaps even being able to arrange for a Bible study. Many former opposers have been influenced to start studying as they became acquainted with others in the congregation and grew to respect their Christian way of life.
And this shows how the witnesses are not genuine.
Manipulation.
Exactly. They come off as these nice people, but in the paragraph it talks about being nice because this may influence a person. You, instead of just being straightforward, you are trying to do something to hopefully influence somebody to do something that you want them to do. In any other instance, this is manipulating a person, but here it's okay.
And the truth is, like, there are a ton of Jehovah's Witnesses who truly are very nice and very genuine. And that's what attracts so many people to the religion. It's the other people that are in it. But there's also still the other side of people, you know? There's people that are pretty terrible within the religion as well, just like with any other big group of anything that you get going on. But it's the way that they are influenced from the governing body. Like, this is a point of principle that they have. It's like, you want to be this way because you never know who's watching, and through your character you will draw people in. They always say, like, your how you carry yourself is like one of the biggest witnesses to people.
This is how you represent the organization. It sounds like
a corporation.
For real, it reminds me of their way of influencing people without having bad intentions, just following rules. Remind me of that soldier that told this story about when he fought in Iraq. Hopefully YouTube don't jump on us for this. I'm a word it correctly, but he talked about how he had went into this house and boom, hit one person in the living room, went into the back room and took the life of this man in front of his wife because the man was reaching for a weapon.
Wow.
And he said, I didn't do this fighting for my country. I did this fighting for a politician because he wanted to do this and use us to do his dirty work.
Yeah.
And that's all this is. And he was like, but really, this could have been a nice person and I was in the wrong. Why did he reach for a weapon? Because I was in this house at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And so I was in the wrong. But that's the same thing with these witnesses. They don't realize that they are in the wrong by not letting somebody be themselves. But it's somebody else influencing them to do something that they think is the right thing.
Yeah.
But in reality, they being manipulated to do a harm to somebody.
Absolutely. And just all of the prejudgments. Like even like we were saying, like in the skit, oh, they make me feel some type of way because of my hair. They make me feel some type of, for whatever reason. This is not just like a fake thing. Like this is real thing that people go through, you know?
Yeah.
The witnesses have a good way of making you feel lesser than just off of physical appearance, you know? And it won't happen at the beginning, but once they get comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So you miss a few meetings. Hey, especially if you agree to start a study and they got that, they point across with some of these teachings. Oh, you know better. And then this is just one-on-one conversations with the witnesses. We ain't talk about when you come to the Kingdom Hall and hear a talk.
Yeah.
Because the person from the platform, they already got this talk planned out. They've been practicing. They don't practice this talk of, what if it's a worldly person, a non-Jehovah's Witness in the audience, and they hear me say this about them?
That's a good point.
They don't think about that. So you're going to hear some disrespectful stuff about yourself when you go to this so-called Kingdom Hall that your spouse is telling you, oh, this is the right thing to do. So you rather be at home playing the game or doing
Most
something else than
definitely.
going here.
Yeah.
And you have the freedom to look up stuff about this organization.
Yeah.
Unlike your spouse.
Yep, that's so true.
This is another thing that doesn't really get talked about. If you are, in one of these marriages, everybody, they don't talk about it, but they are rooting for the unbeliever to be the one to ruin the marriage.
They will never say that out loud.
No, but they root for the ones that are actual true Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, you two can't split up. But on the other hand, they want that marriage to fail. I remember one of my a family friend, I want to say she came from like a super witnessy family, but at some point she dated an unbeliever and moved out of town. And when she came back, she was a single mom, and she ended up dating an unbeliever, and they got married. And I remember my grandmother saying, oh, we'll just have to see how things go with that, because he's a worldly man and worldly men do worldly things. And this is...
As a Christian man, don't do worldly things.
And this is how, I love my grandmother. She came from a genuine place, but this is just the indoctrination.
It's the indoctrination.
We will look at everybody doing the exact same things, but stick people in categories. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses, and we'll turn a blind eye. Like, it ain't brothers and sisters that do dirty stuff and get disfellowship and get caught up in all these scandals.
Yes.
But we'll turn a blind eye and be like, oh, we ought to forgive our brothers. But turn over here and paint all the people of the so-called world as, no, you got good people and bad people. People do cool stuff, people do grimy stuff. It doesn't matter your religion.
Nope.
It's you as an individual. But you just try to stick it in categories and act like it don't apply to everybody. It's some men and women that are not Jehovah's Witnesses that are genuine people, and some ain't, and vice versa.
Yes, that's so true. And it's because Jehovah's Witnesses believe like they have the strongest moral code. And it's just not the truth for all Jehovah's Witnesses, okay?
No.
Not all of them have a strong moral code. Like, I have met plenty of non-witnesses who have such great and elite morals that those are the type of people, while I was a witness, I'd be like, oh, they would be a great Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah,
you know?
That was the saying.
Yes, but there really is just people with like strong morals and people with weak morals. Like,
yeah, that's all it comes down to, regardless of your beliefs.
Yes, I don't care what belief that you may have. Like, either you truly stick to it and believe it, or you don't.
It's literally that black and white. You a good person or you ain't. That's it. And also with the spouse situation, so we'll go from both angles. Now, if you are a wife, your husband is looked at as he's not a real man, or he's not a real, we'll get into the co-parenting and the father and mother part in our next video after this one. Yeah. But if you are, then you could be the most stand-up man. You could be the most responsible man, take care of everything in the household. leading the family, being a great father, you are not a real leader because you're not a Jehovah's Witness. And your wife is looked at, she's supposed to submit to you because that's what the Bible says. But at the end of the day, spiritually, your wife is here because she's following all the Jehovah's Witness rules. And no matter what you do as the husband, you are always here and your wife is better than you. There's never you are not evenly yoked at all. Your wife is up here to you as the husband.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah, I have to agree. And the way that the woman is looked at in general, like, people aren't going to say this out loud, but she is looked at as like, oh, your spirituality must have been really weak then. You know, to marry an unbeliever. Yeah,
you pick somebody who can't even lead you closer to Jehovah.
Yeah. Or if it's the case where it's like the person became an unbeliever, used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and then like stopped or became an apostate, whatever the case may have been. In that case, they get all the sympathy. Like, the woman is just always getting checked on by everybody. How are you doing? How's everything going? Because now it's like you're living with an apostate, basically. An apostate is like equal to the devil.
And at that point, I want to say that's when you can divorce somebody.
Oh, okay.
For apostasy. But say if your person is just...
What if they didn't say it, though?
Right. So if the person is, physically out, mentally out, but still hushing about being an apostate, it's like you are married to dead weight.
Yeah. Especially... and it's always that same thing. It's always a task to try to get them back. That's the mission, is to get them back to being a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, carry that dead weight. And then we can touch on the opposite. Because it was an elder I known for years. I thought he was single. And somebody's like, oh no, he got a wife. What? She just didn't come to the hall. There were brothers too that had wives that I'm pretty sure their wives was woke. Yeah. That just didn't come to the hall. So now it's looked at like your wife is a weak woman. Or she's more than likely to be a part of Satan's world or cheat on you because, she's not a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. You know what? It's so weird because we were just talking about this, but I feel like I usually see the opposite to where it's the woman that is the believer and the man is not. That's what, and this goes back to what we said before, is how they target certain people. Like, they target women, they target, like kids or people who have lived in like broken households, the outsiders of the group. Like, they target people like that. People in poverty, they really target people like that. Yeah. But aside from that, now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember there was a brother that I also did not know that he was married. Until he had passed away, and then they were like, oh, he's married. And I'm like, what?
That is the time you find out at funerals.
Yeah. And there was a sister too that I always thought was single because she was super zealous. Like, she was always out in service. She was a pioneer for I don't know how many years, super preserved. She used to wear literally like the skirt suits with a little brooch. Like, she was like that, okay? Yeah. And so I always thought she was super, super spiritual. And then when I found out that she had an unbelieving mate, I'm telling you, like, this is how they think, because this is how I thought. I was like, oh, she's not as spiritual as I thought she was.
For real, you going home to that bad influence. For real, though. I was about to say, I had lost my thought, and it was about the unbelieving mate part.
Oh, about not finding out.
Oh, no. That's what it was. It was a study showing that more women are prone to join religion than men because women are more about community. So that's why when you mention that, we typically see more sisters with unbelieving husbands because a lot of men are not, well, I won't say a lot of men, but men are less likely to join religions, especially a cult like Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, it's because women are so attracted to community. We talk about this.
Yeah, we did that in a video before.
Yeah, it's something that is, I don't know, it's like innate in us, like wanting to be around other people, having a community. Yeah. Same with like the kids. It's all like a connection thing where men are, it's easier for them to be more reserved and like the lone wolf kind of thing. But women really, I feel like they really prosper in community.
Yep, and they target that. And our final point, if you are married to a Jehovah's Witness and you are not one, your in-laws it's already tough with just regular people that get married and having to deal with in-laws. Some people got cool in-laws, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
But as Jehovah's Witness, they are always going to look at you like you're not good enough.
I cannot imagine that. I feel really bad for the unbelieving mate because for the person who does believe, like in the back of their head, they're going to feel like they have disappointed their parents, you know, if the parents are the ones that are in and believing, you know. And for the mate, it's like you're never truly going to measure up. Like, as you may be a great guy, unless you have really great in-laws that are just so happen to be Jehovah's Witnesses, which that may happen, you know, but most of the time they're just as indoctrinated. So they are hearing the same kind of talks that your wife or your husband is hearing. And
they're having these conversations behind closed doors about you as the unbelieving mate. And don't let the person you're married to have siblings that are high ranking, or let the parents be, you know, your father-in-law is the elder or mother-in-law is a pioneer. Like, that's going to make it even worse because they really look at you like a scumbag. And even
like you messed up the family bloodline.
Yup. And then even with family functions, you less likely to get invited to stuff because it's like, you know, he's worldly, or it depends who. If they having a lot of other witnesses around, maybe we don't invite them this time.
Or you might be invited, but it's just gonna feel very weird because everybody's gonna be talking. This is the thing about a lot of Jehovah's Witness get-togethers is like a lot of times they all know each other, you know, so they're all talking about all the people that they know and other functions that they're going to, and the assembly and the meeting and what happened in service this morning, and you know, like it's just they're not talking about music, and likely not the music that you enjoy. And also, entertainment you enjoy.
You know what else I remember? They have to remember to present themselves a certain way because you there. Yes. So they are being fake around you because they don't want you to think, oh, I don't want to be a part of this. Yeah. They doing this, but so they faking the whole time around
you. They're putting their best foot forward because, like it said in that paragraph, there are certain times that are just the best times to show a witness, and likely it comes from somebody that is not actually the believing mate, but somebody in the community.
Exactly, and this is how that stuff comes full circle. But let us know, because I'm sure somebody, we always have people since the beginning of our videos that talk about being married to somebody that's a Jehovah's Witness. Share y'all experiences.
Let us know what we missed, because I can only imagine the stories.
Yeah, we just speaking for what we seen on the outside, but we never been in that actual situation. Yeah. So we just know from seeing it at the Kingdom Hall.
Right, and trying to put ourselves in that situation, but oh Lord, that just...
Tell us what it's like to live that.
Okay, but that is about it for this video. What do we have for them?
We got our Instagram at Awaken Truths IG. Thank y'all so much for following us on our TikTok. We can't wait to really get that in motion. And that is at Awaken Truths LLC. What else we got for them?
We have our healing journals. We have the regular version. Okay.
Right there.
And the Pimo version. Okay. Right we have been enjoying your guys' reviews on that. I think we need to start posting like the reviews that we get on those.
We do.
But so that's been really fun to hear your guys' experience with that. Hit us up on our Instagram and let us know if you guys have any questions for us. We have the protest coming up here in a couple weeks. This might be posted like the week beforehand. Yeah. So, that's coming up. We will be there. We've gotten questions like, are you guys going to be there? Yes.
We live in effect.
Yeah. So that was on September 13th in Washington, D.C. If y'all are going, we're excited to meet you.
Yep.
And I think that's about it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and catch us in the next one.
Peace.